Hello, Agenda Woman Tribe. As part of our new newsletter design and just thinking around content that we want to share, I will be recording a video monthly where I will be taking you through some parts of explaining what this business is about, how it's structured, and I think I could be open to also answering some questions as part of this series where I'll be just explaining what it is that we're thinking through each month for the Agenda Woman community. And today I want to speak about what Agenda Woman is for anyone who's encountering the platform for the first time and why we exist. So around 2016, I developed a concept called Edit Talks. Very long story, but I had a creative agency that I launched in 2011 after my initial business, which was a DJing school in 2009. It was a female-only DJing school, the only one I think that we've had in the country. Around 2016, I kind of developed a concept called Edit Talks, and it came from just a deep desire and need to connect with people. I thought I would potentially have just 20 girls coming over to a brunch and maybe doing a Q&A and sharing some of the insights that I have learned as I navigated my business journey. So on the 1st of March 2016, and I've told the story so many times, but it might be worth it to actually record it. On the 1st of March 2016, I put out a call to action on Instagram asking people to send an email if they want to hang out with me. It didn't just come out of nowhere. I had done a campaign, I can call it that now, where I decided that for 30 days, I'm just going to pay attention to what the universe was showing me, whether it was a quote that I wanted to share about at the end of the day, or it was a particular insight or thought that came to my mind on that day. So when I put out that email, that call to action, I got 100 emails. I think at the time it was send an email to info@edits.co.za. But anyway, if you go on Instagram and you type hashtag 30 days of awakening, you'll still be able to see the campaign or series of conversations that I had started. So that happened, and suddenly it became a thing. Now I have to create an event for 100 people. And at the time, I think I didn't even charge for that event. And then I did a couple of other events where I was charging like 150 rands. I remember I interviewed Claire Mawisa, I interviewed Euphonic, I interviewed Timothy Maurice. I had a partnership with Destiny where Sheena Adams actually interviewed me for the first conversation to just share a little bit about what Edit Talks is at the time. And it was so crazy because when I did AW Brand & Co. at Mall of Africa, there were people that came into the shop and they were reminding me, about that part of my journey and how they were there when I was starting out. So that happened in 2016, 2017. I did one event on Women's Day because my team had asked me to do that event. I was completely exhausted. It was a very difficult time in my life. But at the time I was working with Delicia Kasenge, and she said to me, we have to do something. And I went over to Standard Bank. I spoke to them and they gave me a venue and they basically paid for the entire event to take place. I remember Hetty was part of that event, and I remember her because she actually recorded a video sharing how impactful it was. And I look at her now and I am reminded of what is possible with the kind of work that I do. So that was 2017. In 2018, that's when I rebranded from Edit Talks to Agenda Woman after a consultation with the business coach. If you guys want me to share a little bit about that story, I will share. But for now, I'm going to leave it at that. I decided, okay, cool, I'm going to go ahead and make this platform about women. I already knew, of course, that I had an interest in empowering women, but I had no idea how I was going to make it a commercial business. Because for me at the time, I was also looking at how do I create a commercial property that is able to sustain me, but also that speaks to being purposeful and impactful. I think one of the things that I will never be able to escape about my life and my existence is that the things that move me have to have a clear path to impact or a clear path to purpose. So I really love working with purpose-driven brands, because when we have to make decisions, we can go back to the values of the organization, the mission of the organization, and the purpose of the organization, and say, if this is what we say this organization is about, then this is what the right decision should be for the organization. So I decided to take the leap of faith and rebrand from Edith Talks to Agenda Woman. It was very scary. I felt like the name was very strong. I was not ready to stand for, I think, a lot of the politicized conversations around what women are going through. But it came, and there's a story there as well. If you want me to share that as well, I can record an entire video about that. But anyway, in 2018, then I did a series of events where I would do them monthly, and I would move around to different locations. I had a branch, and I also had something called Happy Hour, which was a concept that I had come across, I think, when I was in New York, the idea of people leaving work and going to events. But I quickly realized that we are not in New York, and for people to leave work and go to an event is quite difficult. There's traffic, they have commitments at home, but I still gave it a shot. My best friend Masiho was part of the entire journey, and there were so many people that I met when we were doing that. Roberta Kumete being one of those people who came to those events, and that was 2018. We lost a lot of money, and it was just very difficult to do those events every month. So the insight that came from 2018 was, number one, Happy Hour was not going to work. Number two, it was not sustainable to do events in different locations. So 2019 came, I decided to go and attend an event overseas, and it was a platform I'd been following for quite some time, and I wanted to see how they were creating their events. I came back, I still really didn't have the courage to pursue this dream of building Agenda Woman until Mushambi, who is a friend of mine. I remember we were having breakfast at Tasha's at the Mark, and I was telling him about my trip and how spectacular the event I attended was, and he said, I dare you to do something. And the one thing you should never do, ever, is challenge me, because then I said, okay, I'm not gonna lose. So I found a place in Melville called NCW, and I decided that was going to be the home for Agenda Woman. I did a couple of events there. I decided to scale it down to 20 women per event, and I've always been a sucker for intimacy when it comes to impactful and purposeful experiences. So I did 20 to 25 women. Everyone was able to get a headshot. It actually reminds me, Michelle Lima was at the first event there, if I'm not mistaken, and I remember she shared the headshot that she got there, and a couple of headshots that she's received at the other Agenda Women events that she's attended. Also a spectacular story around the work that we've been doing over the years. That was settling. It gave me an opportunity to breathe and think about what this thing could become. And then 2020 hit, and it was COVID, and we were home. But what was really amazing about COVID is that it allowed us to then figure out what the content and digital aspect of this platform was going to be. So we had a content series, I think that's what it's called now, called 21 Days of Realignment. That happened even before the president announced the 21 days of lockdown. And we decided that we're going to do 21 days of realignment. There's also a story there. There's 3 opportunities for other videos now. So please do remind me and just pick in the comment section which one you want me to record a conversation about. But we did 21 days of realignment, and we would send out a newsletter every day with some kind of task that people could focus on. I remember we had 7 content pieces focused, I think, on wellness, 7 focused on, I think, what people can do around getting better prepared for work when work comes back, and 7 content pieces that were conversational. I think I launched something called Agenda Women Conversations. So when you go to the Reels on Agenda Women, you'll be able to see that as well. That was extremely impactful because at the time people were at home, so we were able to really capture their attention when everyone everyone was kind of on the digital platforms trying to figure out how to create connection. So 2020 was a big year for Agenda Women. It was a year where we were able to really see what was possible for the platform. We did the Agenda Women Summit online. About 5,000 people signed up for that. I interviewed Nomzamo, I interviewed Nandi Madida, I interviewed Fadeo Gunro in Lagos. But that's when the structure of working smart, living well with components of lifestyle started emerging. And in 2021 was the first kind of full-on Agenda Women Summit experience where we also started having sponsorships and partners. I remember that year Verve Clicquot came on board, Sanlam was a partner, as well as Dove. I think we'll do the work behind the scenes to kind of make sure that these videos for the events, the event reel, event sizzle, there's so many words that are interchanging now with all the digital platforms, but there is an event reel from 2021 that we will put up on YouTube so that you can see what kind of happened then if you are a first timer on the platform. I remember getting calls at the end of that event with people who had heard me speak about my vision saying, okay, we finally get what you're trying to do. And then 2022, of course, was the year that the platform, I think, exploded, in the sense that it was the first time that I brought what I was seeing in my head in real life. And that came with its wins. It also came with its own challenges. But we continue to be supported by really great partners and really great brand partners. I was always selective about who I want to partner with. We are a brand that is positioned not as a mass brand, but almost accessible luxury. So that's why you see a lot of our events don't get big. We really want to keep the intimacy of the experience. We really want to make sure that we connect with the individuals in the space. But beyond that, we really want to create a premium quality experience for everyone that interfaces with the Agenda Women events. So that was 2022. The sizzle will be, or the event reel will also be up on YouTube so that you can see the progress and what happened then. And 2022 also kind of anchored me even further into working smart and living well as a narrative that we want to own as Agenda Women. If you don't know, our purpose as a platform is to give women the confidence to own their future. And in 2022, I structured the morning sessions as the living well sessions and the afternoon sessions as the working smart sessions, and it just kind of worked for me. I was able to navigate both worlds that I believe are quite crucial for a life well lived, or a holistic life, in a way that allowed me to bring the people that I wanted to speak to, but also allowed the audience to immerse themselves in what was possible when we start to explore that dynamism and we start to journey into figuring out what the harmony for work and life looks like for us individually. So essentially what you will start to see as we continue on with our small rebrands as Agenda Women, and these are a lot more aesthetic rebrands versus messaging rebrands, you will see that we'll continue to anchor ourselves on content and experiences that are around wellness, as well as content and experiences that are around work. So we'll continue to bring the working smart and living well tagline or slogan to life with everything that we touch. In a different video, I think I'll explain how we came to the working smart and living well narrative, informed by the pillars that came from unpacking what our purpose was, which was anchored on giving women the confidence to own their future, and how we believe that we'll continue to do that. I don't want to take too much time talking about the platform here, but I think it was important to really share who we are, how we do things, and why we do things the way that we do them. On different videos, upon your request, I will further elaborate on how I think through Agenda Women as a business. And there's a lot I might not be able to share around our future plans, but I'm really excited for you all to journey on with us and see what is possible and how you can move from idea to launching a business to scaling and commercializing commercializing purpose, and potentially maybe even becoming a business that is owned by a major conglomerate. You never know. But for us, for me, the vision is really to continue to grow, and the idea of how we define growth might be different from how people see it. But for me, it is ultimately about the bottom line, and how do we continue to empower people in ways that are sustainable? How do we continue to be impactful in ways that are sustainable, where there's longevity, and we really empower people to start their own things? When I think about Hetty and Michelle Lima and a couple of other ladies who've come back and said, I started this and I'm going to blow it up and I'm going to amplify it, and I've built a community or I've built a business. Those are the stories that we'll continue to make sure that we really package and share with everyone else, with really, for me, the intention to expose everyone to the potential of taking ideas and doing the work necessary to really create sustainable businesses that can be great examples for the next generation around what is possible for South Africans and what our talents look like, and how powerful we are as not only the South African nation, but as the African continent, in terms of how we build and how we globalize a lot of our ideas and our businesses. Thank you. That was a long one, but I really wanted to take the time for you to get exposed to what's happening in my heart and mind around this business, so that as you journey on, you understand what an important role you play in the success of Agenda Woman, and in all the decisions that we make around how we show up for our community. And I really cannot wait to launch more experiences and share more ideas that I believe is going to be important to explore and create collaboratively. Thank you so much for your time. If you have any questions, please comment below. Let me know what you want me to share a little bit more of, whether it is insights that I've gathered as a businesswoman, or information just about the platform and how we do things, and maybe some of the things that you are challenged with as you build your own business. I don't know what this is. I was just asked to share about working smart and living well a little bit, so that you're not surprised when you continue to hear us anchor that narrative in all the work that we do. In the newsletter, you'll see Working Smart editorials. On the website, you'll see Living Well and Working Smart editorials. And we'll continue to create properties, products, and content that continues to anchor the importance of paying attention to our work life, but also to living well.